Hola, buenas tardes, año seis. Hello and good afternoon, year six. I really hope that you're keeping safe and well. Well done for all the amazing online learning that you've been doing across all the different subjects. In this Spanish lesson, we're going to revise a topic that we did in year five about telling the time. And we're also going to extend it a little bit and think about telling the time in other countries where they speak Spanish. I hope that you enjoy the lesson and I look forward to receiving your work. Stay safe, everyone.
Okay, and on the screen at the moment are examples of work that was sent in to me from children in year 6 in the last couple of weeks. So well done to all these children, to Nikhil, Miria, Arishan, Branavan, Farhad, and I'm hoping for lots more this week. So remember, me encanta recibir tu trabajo. I love receiving your work. Please email it to me, spanish@grange.harrow.sch.uk. And remember, watch the video, complete the tasks, take a picture. I might actually ask you to take a little video today and email that to me, and you will get a thank you, some class chart points, and you'll feature in a shout out video. Okay? Lo que necesitas para esta sesión. What you'll need for this lesson: unas hojas de papel, some sheets of paper, un bolígrafo, a pen, un lápiz, a pencil, and una regla, a ruler. And if you have a way of recording yourself, that would be great. It's not necessary. If you don't worry about it, but if you have access to a mobile phone, or you could even record yourself on a laptop or tablet. Okay. Okay, so we had a recap there of the question words that were covered in the last video, and we're going to focus on a different question in the rest of this video. But before we do that, I want to give you a little quiz, and this is a listening quiz as well as a test of your memory. So what I want you to do on your piece of paper is just write down the word quiz and then numbers 1 to 5 in the margin or down the side of your piece of paper. So pause the video and do that for me. Excelente. And now I'm going to say a question in Spanish, and I want you to write down the answer to my question. So you could write your answer in English, or if you're feeling confident, you could write it in Spanish. What I want to see is whether you remember what the question means. Okay, número 1, number 1. ¿Cómo te llamas? Excelente. Número 2. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Número 3. ¿Cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Número 4. ¿Dónde vives? ¿Dónde vives? Número 5, number 5. ¿Cuál es tu color favorito? Okay, pause the video there. If you need to hear it again, just rewind back and play it again. Okay, now what I want you to do is write down the date and the learning intention, and I have put part of the date there but put some gaps in for you to fill. So, viernes el, and the number that you would need in there, so the Spanish number would be 22, de, and then you need the Spanish word for May. So what I want you to do is pause the video, write down the Spanish date and the LI. Excelente. So hopefully you wrote down viernes el 22 de mayo 2020, and the learning intention, we're going to consolidate and extend the ability to give the time. So like I said, we did this a little bit in year 5, but I know some children found it difficult, and that might be because at that time you weren't that confident with telling the time in English. But I know that a whole year and a bit later you will be. So we're going to work on doing this in Spanish now. So the success criteria, I can say the time in Spanish on the hour, so like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and so on. I can say half past, quarter past, and quarter to the hour in Spanish. I can say any time in Spanish, so for example 10 past 10. And the last one, I can listen to find out the time in various different countries. So we are going to be working not just on reading and writing, but also speaking and listening. Okay, so the question that we're going to focus on today is ¿Qué hora es? Big clue up there. I'm sure you've worked it out. What is the time? And most of the slides in this presentation come from a website created by a Spanish teacher called Rachel Hawkes. So I just need to make sure that we acknowledge her great work there. Okay. ¿Qué hora es? Es la una. It's 1 o'clock. Have a go at saying the writing in the black box after me. Es la una. Muy bien. Perfecto. Son las dos. It's 2 o'clock. Now, why was the first one es la and this one son las? Have a think. Muy bien. I'm sure some of you remembered that when it's 1 o'clock, it's just one, it's not in plural. So we have to use the Spanish word for the singular, it is, which is es la. But when we get to all the other hours, which are more than one, they're in the plural, we have to use the word son las at the beginning of the sentence, okay? See if you can say this one for me. Excelente. Son las tres. And this one. Muy bien. Son las cuatro. Son las cinco. Son las seis. Son las siete. Son las ocho. Son las nueve. Son las 10. Have a go at saying this one after me, because I think the next one some children find tricky to pronounce. Son las 11. Fantástico. Y son las 12. Fenomenal. Okay, so that's all the vocabulary we need to tell the time on the hour. So this is your first challenge. So on your piece of paper, what I want you to do is write down the times in Spanish for the 6 different clocks shown on the screen. So for example, you would write down number 1, son las, and then however we say number 2 in Spanish, and so on. If you can also have a practice at saying those and recording them, so you could do it as a video clip or as an audio clip, that would be great, that I can see how you're doing with your pronunciation. So pause the video, take as much time as you need to complete challenge 1. Okay, so we left off at son las 12. It's 12 o'clock. Now we're going to see how we can make our description slightly longer and more accurate. So son las 12:15. It is 12:15. So the word cuarto means quarter in Spanish. It can be very confusing because it sounds and looks like number 4, cuatro, but the spelling is different. Look at the position of the R. Okay, in this one it's before the T, but in number 4 it would be after. Have a go at saying that after me. Son las 12:15. Muy bien. Son las 12:30. What time is that? Excelente. It's 12:30. So media means half, and you all know that y means and. And the last one, es la 1:15. Think of the word menos as the word minus in English. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock minus a quarter. So a better way of saying that is it's 1:45. Okay, now we can get even more advanced. Son las 12:05. What time is that? Muy bien. It's 12:05. What would this one be? Can you predict what might come up? Muy bien. Son las 12:10. And the next one? What would this be? What's the word for 20 past? Fantástico. 20. Son las 12:20. Son las 12:25. 25 past. Okay, now these ones get even more tricky, but I know you can do it. Es la 1:25. Es la 1:20. Es la 1:10. Es la 1:05. So just pause the video. You don't have to write anything down. Just say out aloud what you think these times are. Muy bien. The first one, it's 25:1. The second one, it's 20:1. The next one, it's 10:1. And the last one, it's 5:1. Now I know some of you are thinking, oh, but I thought it was 12:35 or 12:40 or 12:50 or 12:55. Those are correct too, but we need to be confident with our numbers in Spanish that going up to 60. So we might work on that in the next video. Okay, so challenge 2. This time I want you to write down the times in Spanish for the 6 clocks shown. For example, number 1 would be son las 10:00, and then you'd need the Spanish word for 10. So pause the video, take all the time that you need again. Okay, now we're going to think a little bit about the Spanish-speaking world, because there are so many other countries than just Spain where Spanish is either the national language or a co-official language, which means they might have 2 main languages. So all the parts of the map that are coloured in red are where Spanish is the official language. So large parts of South and Central America, obviously Spain and its islands as well. And you can see that the blue section creeps right into North America, and there is even a tiny little part of Africa. Hopefully you can see on the screen the little blue blob, which is a country called Equatorial Guinea. So Spanish is spoken in 4 different continents. Okay, and the reason why we're looking at that is because in the next part, we're going to listen to a song where they explain the time in different Spanish-speaking countries. So what I want you to do, listen to the song the first time, and then the second time, see if you can write down the times for the different countries. It's explained on the next screen. Okay, remember you can go back and listen to it again. There's also the YouTube link there, and just have a try at writing down the times in España, Bolivia, Costa Rica and Ibiza. And finally, this is optional, you don't have to do this, but if there are some of you that are feeling like an even stronger challenge, this is the extension. So what I've done, and we've got a lot of maths going on in this activity actually, it says tiempo en Londres in the first column, the time in London. Destino, pretend that you are on your way to España, for example, to Spain. Now, different countries that are in different time zones, the time will be different. So, diferencia horaria is the time difference. So, Spain is 1 hour ahead of London. So, if we go back to column number 1, it says son las cuatro. So, let's pretend it's 4 o'clock in London. What would the time be in Spain? We have to add on 1 hour. So, the last column is what you have to fill in. Tiempo en destino, the time in your destination country. Son las cinco, it would be 5 o'clock. We've got to add on 1 hour. So that was your example. I want you to make your own little copy of that table if you can, and fill in the final column. Now be careful, because all the other countries are countries which are behind London in time, because they are on the other side of the world. So for example, in Argentina, the time is 4 hours behind what we have in London. So look carefully at the time I've put in the first column, because it changes, and then you need to find the difference and fill in the last column. I hope that makes sense. If not, please do email me and I will explain it again. So pause the video if you'd like to do that one. Take the time you need. I And finally, just a reminder to send your work, that means the written work, anything that you've managed to record, to spanish@grange.harrow.sch.uk. If you do send any video or audio clips, please let me know if your parents give permission for those to be shared in a shout-out video. There is a painting, a famous painting on the screen there, and I just picked it because it's got some sort of melting clocks in it, and it's by a Spanish artist. See if you can tell me what the painting is called. It's by the artist Salvador Dali. Stay safe, keep working hard, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now, Year 6. Adios.